Good afternoon from Raleigh, North Carolina, neighborhood of Bedford. Love this neighborhood. I don't live there, so well, hopefully the law doesn't realize that as I in the middle of this. Well, you know what I'm talking about, right? You never know, but at any rate, I was thinking of the last time. This is Cinco de Mayo, but I was actually thinking of the country to our north, Canada. And yes, I'm on a swing. I like swings. Don't want to mess with you, get you any vertigo. But anyway, the last time I was in Canada, or not the last time, but one of the times I was in Canada, and I flew to Montreal because I wanted to go to a different part of Canada, more French speaking. It turned out I was in Montreal a little bit and visited some areas, but for the most part, I would go out to other places. Like I remember I took a train, and I took a train to Halifax, Nova Scotia. I actually ran into the mayor of Halifax, Nova Scotia. It was pretty cool, and met some other folks, and they could tell I was they could tell, if you will, that I was American because, well, not no Canadian speaks like I do, and so I was having pretty good time on that train, and then I think I went to Toronto. I'm trying to remember which way that was, but anyway, I went to Toronto. So I went back to Montreal. I was in a dorm room, and then I went to Toronto. Actually, one of the key reasons why I went to Toronto was because I called the church center. The church I belong to, actually had a church center, more of a missionary effort, very evangelical. And so we have, if you will, church members from all over the world staying, there, at a number of places, also including Montreal, Toronto. Oh, no, now I remember actually. I think I was calling them to find out if there were church members in Montreal. And the guy that I got a hold of who answered the phone was like, he was like, he couldn't quite understand my English. And I was listening to this guy, and I was like, oh, snap. Because I knew this guy in Berkeley, California. And we had all these full-time members, all these missionaries, and among all of them, even though he spoke broken English, my English was always the worst for him. He was from Korea and South Korea, and my English was always terrible for him. And I was like, I think I know who this is. And the guy asked my name. And so I said, my name is Dino. Well, now, understanding Korea, Dino, the D. So the D and T can oftentimes be ambiguous. And so instead of Dino, he would call me Tino. Tino. And so, oh, Tino. And so I was like, yes, sir. And I always called him young, him, elder brother. And I was like, well, what the hey? I'll go over there, even though he's always disrespecting my English. I'll go over there. So I went to Toronto, stayed at the church center there, spent the night because I was going to go back to Montreal. So I spent the night. And I remember, it seems like I went to the bathroom. Well, I guess they must have kept the church center open because I came back. And folks, I had a laptop. I had my birth certificate. I had my ID. At least I did at one time. It was gone. Well, I was thinking, well, I must have just misplaced it because who in the world would dare, go into a church? Well, I tried to keep my mind off of it. I was trying to figure out what happened to myself, but I was trying to keep my mind off of it. We had church service, and young Nim dropped me off at, if you will, Niagara Falls. And so the Canadian side, beautiful, by the way. I was so in love with it. It was awesome. All right. Well, I'm still thinking I just must have just misplaced the stuff. Well, lo and behold, I run into this fellow, and he has a backpack that is very, if you will, similar to my backpack. Very similar indeed. Oh, it's not similar, is it? It is my backpack. Um, and I believe I also had some of my money. Well, at any rate, so we wanted to talk to the guy about this, and basically he gave me the backpack and then basically just walked away. Well, now it's clear that my backpack was stolen, or my stuff was stolen. My blue backpack, Carolina blue, of course, and my other backpack were stolen. Um, the one that held the laptop was stolen, and a copy of Young Frankenstein. Now that ticked me off. That hurt most of all. Well, I mean, well, the laptop hurt too, but the Young Frankenstein, I just thought that was some cold-blooded stuff. But at any rate, um, and so I had to. So now the game was different. The guy ran away, um, and so I reported it. Um, Here was the convenience of this. Um, in Toronto, our church center was right next door to the police department. But it was also clear something else too. They made it clear to me that looking for my things was a low priority, compared to crimes such as auto theft or murder. Now, of course, if you've ever been to Canada, they hardly murder anybody there. But but at any rate, but they made it clear to me, basically saying that this was a low priority thing for them, that stuff was stolen from me. And also, the Queen was in an evening dress. This was no disrespect, but Canada is a constitutional monarchy. I'm not sure if you are aware of that, but the Queen, if you will, of England is also the Queen of several other countries, many other countries, including Canada. And so, I was in trouble. I knew it. I was going to lose my stuff, and it wasn't coming back. I think something did eventually come back, but for the most part, most of the stuff wasn't coming back. Certainly not the laptop, and certainly not my copy of Young Frankenstein. Like I said, that's some cold-blooded junk. That's some cold-blooded stuff. So at any rate, what happens after that? Well, you know what? Actually, although my stuff was straight up stolen and the police didn't really give a care, I actually kind of like Toronto. And there was some dude who actually was living at the center, and he was Maltese. And I never met a brother from Malta before. Next thing you know, I run into all these other Maltese people, and then they have a Maltese bakery. And I was like, I gotta come back, if you will, to Toronto, even though some kid stole my stuff. Now, how did I get home? You might be asking. Well, once I got back to my dorm room at the University de Montreal and got my stuff, obviously I had to talk to them, do a little bit of registration, let them know that I won't be coming with identification. Well, I'm trying to figure out exactly how it happened. I gave them the information, but the center was closed. But I know I talked to them, and I know I was led into the country. Now, I am not sure if that's because of the fact that I clearly don't sound like I'm from Canada. Some of you here likely may be confused for Canadian. Although I've heard some people with some pretty clear Canadian accents, but some of you may be confused. I'm not one of those people who's going to be confused with Canadian. Also, there was something else. Apparently, what they had done in addition to this, because I told them that I was a graduate student at Texas Tech University, a doctoral student at Texas Tech. And I believe actually I was supposed to teach some classes too, so I definitely needed to get back, but what had happened was they also decided, upon talking to all these people at the university, including the chair of the department, that I should be, obviously let in. Now, of course, the chair of the department, I heard this later, didn't help anything when he said, "Oh, I know Dino Bryant, 6'5" blonde Norwegian, right?" And then he said he was just kidding. You know, I'm neither 6'5" nor blonde, and probably not Norwegian, although supposedly I might be 2% Swedish, according to those DNA results. Um, you know, you, you know, I mean, look at that, just the smile of Stockholm is blessed upon you. But anyway, I came home to Lubbock, Texas, probably the only one of the few people that will say home to Lubbock, Texas, and actually mean it and actually like it. And also what happened was that, of course, I was made fun of. One of the professors was like, "Welcome back to the United States." And then another one saw me and he started, patting around. He was like, "I can't find my passport." And I was like, "Yeah, yuck it up, you big jerk." Now, also the secretaries had banned me from leaving the country. As best they could. So I had that on me as well. I believe I went to Hawaii after that, and that's still in the country, so I kind of skirted that one. But I thought that was interesting. Just being left out like that, and things working out. And I gotta tell you, I very much still enjoyed.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. Yes. Very much enjoyed my stint in Toronto, and and true to form, I came right back. Now I watched my stuff after that, but I did come back, and I enjoyed it very much. Well, at any rate, man, this is long, and I'm a very long-winded person. But at any rate, what I'm going to do is get off of this thing, and I'm going to post it. And I appreciate for those who even came halfway to this or paused it. But thank you so much for listening. And I don't know, just kind of nice to talk about these things, reflections, and man, I got so many things that are going on, and I need to talk to somebody, even if it's not live, that eventually get to somebody. So I appreciate it, y'all. Thank you so much, and goodbye.